crazy. Happy Friday, my Friday friends. So that was some speech last night, am I right, huh? I think we have a clip. Amazing. It was so upbeat. At least he didn't say MAGA. Whew.
MAGA Republicans. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. MAGA forces extreme MAGA Republicans, the extreme MAGA ideology. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair.
Carnage, darkness, and despair. But enough about liberal-run cities. That was easy. But imagine if you replaced MAGA Republicans with China or Russia, then what a landmark speech in foreign policy this would be. It would be a call to arms against an evil empire. Except here, who's the evil empire? It's us. I wonder, as he stands here tonight, are equality and democracy under assault?
As I stand here tonight, equality and democracy are under assault.
And by what? A chuckle bucket president who shakes hands with his imaginary friends and believes every child's head is sacred and a playground for his nose. I wonder if too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Yeah, things aren't normal. Soccer is still popular. And we have a deranged president channeling an exorcism. If his head spins, call Dr. Jill. She's a chiropractor. Yeah, I went to med school.
So did I.
Yes, so did you, Julie. Okay, so the biggest threat to our democracy are Trump supporters. But like when Larry Kudlow showed me his pole dancing videos, this is where it gets weird. Because I wonder if not every Republican, not even a majority of Republicans, are MAGA Republicans.
Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans.
Dude, make up what's left of your mind. First you say MAGA is the biggest threat ever, but then, it's really not even a majority when you think about it. Then, you dumbass, why did you decide to come into millions of our living rooms last night and give a speech in front of a backdrop built by Lucifer and his union buddies? Makes no sense. It reminds me of when his idiot press secretary said this earlier.
When you ask me about the MAGA agenda, it is one of the most extreme agendas that we have seen. They are threatening political violence, and they are attacking our democracy.
But then she says this.
When we talk about the extremism, we're talking about a very small component of the American public.
So, wow. It's good to know she was hired purely for her competence. Didn't tick any boxes there. So they want you to be a threat, but they have no evidence of it. Perhaps this is why the FBI admitted to padding the domestic violence extremist numbers. They couldn't find the hate crimes, so they got to make them up. But hey, I bet he believes America is at an inflection point.
I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those moments that determine the shape of everything that's to come after. And now, America must choose to move forward or to move backwards. For a long time, we've told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it.
Did he just draw a line? Be careful, Hunter might snort it. But again, he's drawing a line within America. He talks about rejecting violence and inflammatory language, but then cleaves the country in two with rhetoric. He lectures Americans on violence after hiding in his basement like Chris Cuomo with COVID during months of rioting. He's such a lame duck, he should avoid Dick Cheney. So what's the point here? Well, this speech was a political call to arms, a feeble distraction that's trying to pit two groups against each other. He's basically Michael Vick and we're the pit bulls.
What the hell, man?
I don't know. I thought that time had passed.
It was his cousins, man.
I don't know. I didn't follow the story, Tyrus.
Oh, I did.
All right. And at the same time, he's claiming he's unifying. But I've seen more people brought together by leprosy. Fact is, he doesn't just want to be a wartime president. He wants to be a civil wartime president. So funny. Hilarious. But the only thing he has in common with Lincoln is they're both brain dead. But Joe has a point. Maybe there is a side in this country that's a threat to democracy, and they use anger and violence when they don't get what they want. They shut down free speech and debate every chance they get. They eliminate laws that are supposed to protect citizens. They justify theft and vandalism and choose criminals' rights over victims' rights. They take the very agencies meant to protect us and use them against us. Those are all legit threats to democracy. And it's not MAGA, ultra MAGA, or MAGA light with only 65 calories. I remember reading about how presidents in trouble might start wars, but no one ever explained to below average Joe that he's not supposed to do it within our country. But then again, after seeing how he did in Kabul, you'd understand why he might want to have a home game instead of going on the road. What say you, Joe?
Yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm exhausted. But you got me wrong. I didn't call anybody fascist. I called him semi-fascist. Semi-fascist. It's different. It's like if Hitler had a mini-me. Remember that guy, Dr. Evil, had that little midget? $1 million. I like that guy. He was funny. Okay, yeah, semi-fascist, MAGA I don't know, I'm making this up as I go along.
So good. And so Antifa went from being an idea to being his idea. He made a wartime speech for Americans against Americans. I mean, this idiot had the White House, Senate, Congress, and yet his strategy is to bait red on blue violence for political benefit. But you can't fall for this. They want you to take the bait, and you can't be like them. That speech was supposed to be scary. Like how my mom said if I kept making faces, they would freeze like that. No, that's Botox. But the speech is more funny than scary, and you can't forget that. Remember, after every Trump speech or rally, the media's hair was always on fire. You could see their flaming scalps from space. Meanwhile, people rioted and attacked Trump supporters. That's what they want you to do here. They want you to set your own hair on fire. And you can't, because your hair is too beautiful and your life is too much fun. So sit back and giggle at their desperate distractions. Come November, you may be the last one laughing. Let's welcome tonight's guests. Her new children's book comes with a free bottle of scotch. Fox News anchor and author of the new children's book, Fiona's Fantastical Fort. Julie Banderas. He reminds us of a guy who sold pot outside the high school because he still sells pot outside the high school. The comedian behind Terrorizing Telemarketers 7, Jim Florentine. His name sounds like an extra in a nativity scene. Publisher and founder of Planned Man, Guy Shepherd. See? Pretty good. And his shadow's been here since yesterday. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Television Champion, Tyrus. So, Julie, first, before we get to the story, congratulations on this incredibly large achievement, writing a children's book. The last attempts at relevance. This is, got nothing going for you? Write a children's book, because it's not like they can tell if it's any good. Just for fun, you got to order this and just get it up there on Amazon.
It's on bravebooks.com.
What?
Not Amazon, not Amazon.
Brave?
Bravebooks.com.
Couldn't get it on Amazon, huh?
No, it's
You can actually buy Mein Kampf on Amazon. You can't get her children's book. That's how bad this is. I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's so good. It is so good. Julie, what did you make of that speech? It was hilarious.
It was not good. Okay. First of all, let's see the list of things that he failed to talk about. Okay,
Right.
Inflation, jobs, energy, the border crisis, crime, opioids, and then an explanation behind the devilish red background.
Right.
Because I thought I was watching a horror film.
Yeah.
And in fact, it did inspire me because I love to decorate for Halloween, and I was like, ooh, red lighting, that's eerie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. So I'm blowing it out in October, and I may actually, in fact, I have a mask. A Biden mask, I'll put that somewhere.
Basically,
on my
they were
decoration.
inspired by the poster for The Devil's Advocate. Remember that? With
Yeah.
Al Pacino playing Satan and Keanu Reeves is in front of him. And there's like, you know what? Why am I explaining a movie poster when you can just Google it? So, Guy, it's good to see you robbed Hugh Hefner's crypt.
I did. I figured if Jimmy Fallon wasn't wearing like the tight tux that I could go to Men's Warehouse and find one that fits.
I don't think that's Men's Warehouse. I think that's Cemetery Warehouse. What did you make of this speech?
Watching it, I was reminded how much I miss Bill Clinton in the politics of unifying triangulation.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it just reminds you of how things have gone, where I think when politics is working right, the differences between the parties are of degree and not kind. And I think what we saw in this was that, we came out there and it's like, no, it's a different sport now, where half of the American people are not fit, and that we need to kind of transcend them by getting to this moment in time where there's only going to be a uni party. And I think that woke statecraft is bad for our country.
Yeah. Do you think this is the setup for something else?
Well, I thought the beginning, the whole purpose of this was to kind of trigger Donald Trump to run, right? And to conflict him out at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to go for that bait, but I do think this is really putting us forward at a time where it looks like we're moving towards something that we don't want to get to, and we should stop it.
Yeah, I think that America's in great shape, much like Jim Florentine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. That's called a transition, people.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. And also, you're wearing a dark red shirt in kind of remembrance of the speech.
I did. I picked this one out just because the background of his speech.
Yeah. I mean, that speech was darker than your voice.
Yeah, I would say so. And probably my comedy, too.
Yes.
I like how people were complaining that there was Marines in the background during the speech. It's like, well, aren't they supposed to be around when there's this disaster happening? And, like, does he know what MAGA stands for? Make America Great Again. Who doesn't want America to be great?
Yeah.
Is that such a bad thing?
Yeah.
So I guess, you're extremist if you want secure borders, lower taxes, and tougher on crime. You're an extremist all of a sudden now. So I guess I'm an extremist. I admitted it on TV. I am.
Yeah, and you were an original extremist.
I think so.
Yes, yeah. But you know what? It's amazing. Then they say that, well, no, it's just a minority. So now they're saying, Tyrus, that that the minority is now an extremist. That's what they're saying. Like, they can't figure out what it is.
This isn't new. I've been a minority forever, and I've always been the problem. When I saw this,
Yeah.
I was half asleep, right? Because, well, you got to be half asleep because then his words make more sense. But I thought, because Schiff likes to write scripts and stuff.
True. Yes.
I feel like they brought, like, George Lucas in, and he was going to be the new Sith Lord. Darth yells with fists. I think that's what he was going for. But and the other thing is he was clearly medicated, and I would like 2 so I can go lay on the grass and cuss out clouds. That's what I'd like to do.
Wait, real quick. This actually gave me nightmares last night about like that boyfriend I couldn't get over in high school, like the first love.
Yeah.
He reminds me of like he needs to get over Trump.
Right,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? It reminded me of that ex-boyfriend where I'm going to keep talking about him and make him think I'm happy. Oh, I'm good. But like I'm not. I'm actually not over him. He needs to get over Trump.
I think it's good, though, that we finally ended up becoming friends, though. Last word, Jim?
I think even the network, only 2 networks showed this speech last night.
Yeah.
It was MSNBC and CNN.
Yeah.
Nobody else even bought it. They're like, we're not going to air that.
Exactly.
I mean, he's unpopular when, like, CBS decides to air, like, a rerun of Young Sheldon instead of that.
All right, we got to move on.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.